I don't care what they say, you cannot become a ghostwriter if you can't do these two things. Very important. Also, I just have to quickly say, I hope this doesn't come off as me not caring about what I create here, because I do, I really do, but I just don't have a ton of free time in my life to make videos. Content should stand on its own, that I'm telling you a lot of things that I know they're pretty valuable if you listen. It is. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I don't know that I'll ever have the patience, honestly, for a slick, kind of showy, like a studio. Like, even if I had a lot of time, and I don't know. I don't see myself doing that, just because it's just not me. I don't have patience to do things. You know, I have a very solid 90% rule. Sometimes it's an 80% rule, depending on what it is. But with writing or with anything I do, I don't strive for perfection, because you just make yourself crazy with that, honestly. So what I try for is a solid 90%. Like I said, sometimes it's 80, but not with my writing. With my writing, it's 90%. So with these videos, I'm probably closer to the 80%, maybe 85, I don't know, 95? Sometimes I try. I convince myself it's 90, but I mean, I could spend 6 hours a day if I had the time, I guess, to... Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there that I'm not just kind of half-assing. Can I say that? That I'm not just... Before you can become a ghostwriter, you need to decide, you need to figure out for yourself whether or not you're fit for it, whether or not it's a good job for you to do. I've met a bunch of really great writers in my time that they couldn't ghostwrite. They just weren't good ghostwriters, and there's a reason for that. It's a very unique skill, and it means that you need to really subdue and do away with your own voice, and you need to be able to be a chameleon, very flexible, and adapt and create and enhance someone else's voice. And most times you even need to help them find their own voice, because they don't have it yet. Quick intro, I'm Mary Ghostwriting, and I'm here to help you learn everything about ghostwriting. None of the fluff, all of the facts. Ooh, I like the way I just said that. And I forgot to put the blanket on. Ugh. And just an FYI, I'm trying really hard with this video tonight. It's Monday night. I'm tired, but I want to stick to a schedule and make myself consistent so that you know to come back on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, and to hear the word. So how do you know if you're suited to become a ghostwriter and to capture someone else's voice? There are some key, very, very key things that you need to be really good at. You need to be a good listener. Not just a good listener, you need to be a great listener. And you need to be good at interviewing people, like how I'm talking right now to you, which is really to myself. I do that all day. I can't think of a day that I don't have an interview with someone, that I'm talking to them, and it's either a client or someone who might become a client. It's just, I'm having conversations, I'm networking with people all the time. So, but when it comes to capturing someone's voice, I need to be really, really good at interviewing and at listening to them and hearing what they're not saying that needs to be said. So kind of capturing that, what's in between the lines, the nuance of the conversation. It's a little bit of mind reading, honestly. You feel like you're a really good judge of people and that you can figure out what's happening beneath the surface in a conversation or in a situation, then that's one sign that you might be very well suited to be a ghostwriter. Loop you back to that listening part, because everyone thinks they can listen, but there's a difference between just hearing what's being said and active listening. So active listening, and it's a skill that you need to practice. When you're talking to someone, you can't just listen. You can't waiting to say something back, waiting to respond. You need to listen. You need to listen with really hearing what they're saying and ask questions that help them elaborate on their thoughts and help them better understand what they're saying. Just like Thor is trying to help me right now. He's a Great Pyrenees and he barks at night. So this is fun. So practice this. When you're talking to someone, especially if you're talking to someone new, pay attention to what you come away from that conversation with. Do you come away feeling like you just learned something new about them? Or do you come away just uncomfortable? Or, you know, what's the interaction like? What are your interactions like? And practice and see if you're able to have a conversation with someone and draw out who they are, and see if you can find something out about them that surprises you. Just in a regular, don't make it weird. don't be creepy with people, but just have a regular conversation, and you'll note the difference between active listening and finding out about them versus just the regular everyday listening that people always do in conversation, where everyone is just kind of sharing. You're like a peacock, look at me. Everyone's sharing their own stuff about them. You have to get that out of your head to be successful at this. You also have to become good at analysis. So analyzing someone else's writing, or a bunch of people's writing actually, because one thing that I talk to clients about all the time, if they don't already have a voice, or if they don't already have writing that I can explore and get a sense of how they like to present themselves, then I ask them, who would they like to write like, or what kind of writing do they appreciate? I ask them to send me examples of someone they would like to emulate, for example. And the main thing there is that I'd start to develop their voice, at least for me. It's not like an official, here's your voice, but it's very distinct from my own. So what I always tell people, and what I see offered to people who are interested in becoming a ghostwriter a lot, and this is really, really bad advice, you're not just transcribing what someone says. You're not, okay? You're not a good ghostwriter if you're doing that, and you won't win repeat business, okay? People who have these huge followings and who have all of these people they write funnel copy for, yes, they're getting repeat business. That's an entirely different animal. But if you want to write books, thought leadership, scripts, speeches, things that I write all the time, pitch decks, webinars, just all kinds of things, okay? If you want to write that, you need to learn to subdue your own voice and adopt someone else's voice, or create someone else's voice. And to do that, you need to be able to really analyze what is happening with them, and to know that the mark of a great ghostwriter is that no one ever knows that you wrote it. And if they do know that you wrote it, then you got a little lazy and you're not doing your job, because I have a very distinct voice of how I write. And there have been a few times where I've had someone who knows me well, I said, oh, wow, that reads like you. I'm like, oh yeah, isn't that funny? And it was me. So that's awkward. They would never know that. So, I mean, people say that to me a lot, and they're wrong. So if you're seeing this and think, no, you don't. You don't know. So I think those are two important things, because I've had some great creative writers. I love creative writers, by the way, work for me as ghostwriters, and they weren't able to ghostwrite. So I trained people how to become ghostwriters when they worked for me by having them ghost me initially before they ever move on to any client work. And some people don't get past that point, and that's fine. I thought writing in another voice and active listening are two hugely important skills that you need to develop. I'm just trying to give you tips that will really genuinely help you be a successful ghostwriter. What you should not do is listen to people who tell you ghostwriting is easier than copywriting, because it's not. It's actually harder, and that you can use your own, you can just transcribe calls, and it's easy to do and it's fast. And it's not. It's a lot harder than that. But it is something you can do, but you need to do it right. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So do those two things, and leave me some comments and let me know what you would like to know about it specifically. And I will do some more thinking about how to best help you sort this out. But there's so much else I want to tell you about. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you've subscribed. And if you haven't yet, please do. And what else? Oh, so watch one of my other videos. It's been great talking at you, and I guess I will see you next time. Hopefully you come back on Wednesday, because I'm going to tell you more about what you need to know. Actually, I'll talk about the first things you should do. So I shared some characteristics, some traits that you need to have to be a ghostwriter. And next I'll share at least two things, or maybe one big thing that you need to do to get started, to get yourself on that journey to become a ghostwriter. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I did that. It's late. Okay.